First up is my colleague, Rhonda Krogan. She is from the Disco Hub, and I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about it, so I did a little bit of research. It stands for the Digital Inclusion, Seniors Connection, and Opportunities Hub, and is in partnership with Canada College, the Village and Human Endeavor, with funding support from the North Bay and Area Community Foundation. So, and if anyone who attended yesterday's presentation would have seen Rhonda do an awesome exercise program. So I'm not sure we're going to get to see that today, but Rhonda, thanks very much for joining us. I'm very excited to learn more about the Disco Hub, as our listeners. Rhonda, I'll put it over to you. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Gord. So I'll just give you a little bio of myself. I am Rhonda Krogan. I've been with the YMCA for over 14 years. I'm the supervisor of health and wellness for older adults. I am a graduate of Canada College in recreation leadership in 1988, so that'll probably age me a little bit. I do a lot of things at the Y besides disco. I am a fitness instructor, and I teach aquafit, hydrotherapy. I can do gentle fit, and then I also run community after school programs. So the history of disco, we started out about the summer of, I think it was around 2020, and we partnered up with the Village at Canadore. And we were looking to facilitate a new program that would encourage and assist older adults with teaching technology safely and provide some free educational workshops. We started this, like I said, in summer 2020 with setting up a hub out in the parking lot at Canada College. And then we also had a hub out in front of the YMCA at the entrance. We were able to teach and assist people how to use their tablets, laptops, cell phones, whatever they wanted some help with. Some of the things that we helped them with were to open up a Facebook account so they can reach out to their friends and family, how to FaceTime, how to download pictures, take a picture, set up an email, find free books online to read, how to shop, text with their cell phones, and so much more. Some of the things that we incorporated in our sessions were how to be safe, knowing the features on their devices, how to watch out for scams, and safety of the browser. And I have a PowerPoint that I'll show you what we were doing with our sessions for each one. We received great feedback from the participants, and the students who volunteered were amazing that we got from Canadore. Everyone was engaged and with learning, and the big part I found was the socialization with each other, sharing stories and getting feedback. We had people would come for a 4-week session and then would come again for another 4-week session. We actually had one person come 3 times in 12 weeks because they were having so much fun and they really enjoyed learning. And I think, like I said, the socialization piece was huge. Another part of our program was the one-on-one. So we would have volunteers sit with each participant and assess their needs individually, because everybody had different needs. We didn't just have a group of people who needed to learn how to download a picture. It was whatever they needed assistance with the devices that they had. So like we even had a gentleman who didn't even know how to text anybody, and we taught him how to text. So the one-on-one was really important, and that's what they liked. So we had enough volunteers to share with everybody that came out to the sessions. We took a break as we were locked down because of the pandemic, and we came back this year, and right now we're on our 3rd session in Corbeil. We've also partnered up this year with Human Endeavor, which loans tablets out to seniors if they cannot access any technology devices. Loaning the tablets has been extremely successful, as the devices have the internet on it already. As we know, some participants cannot afford the internet. So this is at no cost for anybody who is using the tablet. And then if they decided they wanted to purchase something down the road, they could do that. So it's been a great partnership with the Village at Canadore and Human Endeavor. And I'm going to just show a bit of our the slideshow that I have. Who can share? Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, it's not letting me. Share screen. Oh, here we go. Okay, where's my? Now I'm having issues here. Sorry about that. Kelsey, do you think you can share it with me? Because I can't seem to find it now.
I sure can. Just one moment.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to show everybody what the sessions involved for our pilot. And I had it on here and I don't know why. Okay, perfect. So we're just going to go down to the first screen. So basically on week 1, we talked about online safety practices. And this is just gives you an idea of the different things that we were talking to the participants about. And then I would have a little web slide of it could be a YouTube video based on the online safety practice. So we would show that, just discuss this briefly, and then go into helping them with whatever they needed. Week 2, please, Kelsey. Okay, this is still online safety practices. So week 2 was social media safety. So we talked about how to be safe with social media, Facebook hacking and stuff like that, people who are scamming others. So this was our week 2. Week 4, this is online terminology. We talked about what is an emoji, a GIF, abbreviations. And then week 3 was social isolation and the benefits of the internet, like what is Pinterest, YouTube. So those were just some of the things that we discussed with the participants. Mind you, it was short videos, and we didn't really get into talking a lot because we didn't want to take up the time with the one-on-one, which was really important. We did give out a folder with instructions on each session. So if they wanted to touch base at home, they can look at that. And yeah, so that's basically the Disco Hub. And I'm really enjoying working with the Canadore students. And again, I'll just give you a little quick story before I end here. We have a gentleman who came to our hub, and his wife is living in Castleholm, and they didn't have internet there. So he came to learn the tablet so he can teach her how to use the tablet, because she was needed to just keep busy where she was living. Mind you, he goes and gets her, brings her out, and they go shopping and eat out and stuff like that, but she has to live there. So I suggested to him, why don't you bring her to the Disco Hub? And then we were able to loan her a tablet that she could read things online, play some games, and he just was happy about that. And they're still coming. They came for one session of 4 weeks. Now they're in their second session of 4 weeks, and they're just loving it. They both have tablets that they're borrowing from Human Endeavor. And if they had any issues, there's a 1-800 number, and somebody would be able to help them with the tablets if they were at home. So, all right, so that's about it for me. I know I rambled on here, and I apologize if I'm over the 10 minutes, but I just wanted to share what we're doing, and it's amazing how we're reaching out to people. So.
Gord, you're just on mute there. Gord, sorry, Gord, you're muted. Sorry.
Maybe Kelsey can help
So,
unmute.
yeah, sorry, Gord, you're still
Yep.
on.
There we go. Okay. So I'd like to just turn it over and say thank you very much for Rhonda for your presentation. And I'd like to see if there's any questions that folks may have regarding Rhonda's presentation.
Actually, Gord, before we move on, I would love to just do a little introductory poll for the attendees that we do have. So what we're asking here, just a couple of introductory questions about your age, how you identify, and where you're located. After the fact, that I'll run a couple of other polls as we get deeper into the session in regards to your access to that technology and digital literacy. So I'll start right now and we'll give it maybe about 60 seconds. So you should see it pop up on your screen there. And I'll give it another 30 seconds. Thank you to those of you who participated so far. Okay, we've hit about 70%, so I'm going to end our poll. And I'll share the results with you quickly. So we've got 50% 80 years and above, 25 and 25 at 70 and 60. Mostly older adults and then one caregiver. So thank you for attending. And then it looks like most of us are in North Bay. Appreciate you sharing that with us. You're free to move on, Gord.
Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to Melissa Sones of the Calendar Public Library. Melissa, I have a question for you. A little on a personal note, I have fond memories of going to the library and picking up vinyl and taking out books on Hardy Boys and things like that, and other great books. So lots of good memories for the library. In my research, I looked. It says something called the Overbooked Book Club. So certainly, I look forward to hearing your presentation and then learning more about that as well. So Melissa, I'm going to turn that over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gord. I'm just glad to hear you had such positive experiences at the library. So my name is Melissa and I work here at the Calendar Public Library. I've been here for about 5 years now, and technology is definitely a very important part of the services that we offer here. Now, the Calendar Library obviously serves the community of Calendar, but if anyone here is listening from another area, I highly recommend you reach out to your own local library, because there is a good chance that they will offer very similar services as to what's available here. So I will only be speaking to our services that we offer, but keep in mind, like I said, that they are available. Anyone can become a library member at any public library. It's just if you aren't a resident, there may be an additional fee associated with that. So libraries aim to promote access to information and lifelong learning, and access to technology and the skills to use those technologies are a key part of the services that libraries use. So I think most of the services that so as far as technology, the services that we offer, we always have public use computers. So anyone can come into the library and use a computer if you do not have one, or even if you have one. And we also offer printing, scanning, faxing services. Not everyone has access to that. Internet is always free and available. Recently, we've added a number of technologies to our lending items. This includes tablets. So we have both iPads and Android tablets that are available for loan that you can borrow. And through some great funding from the Village Project, our program, we've also been able to loan out Wi-Fi hotspots. As many of our rural anyone here who's rural knows or has been in rural areas here, we have very limited internet access. So our internet hotspots have been extremely popular, and that has allowed a number of people to access internet who would not. The Wi-Fi hotspots work off of cell towers. So you do not need to be in town to use them. And they have been extremely popular, especially during COVID when people were not able to come into the library. We also, as part of our services, offer technology training. So kind of like what Rhonda was talking about at the Disco Hub. It's sort of a similar program, although we don't do it in a group. It's just a one-on-one. So you book a lesson with our technology trainers, and they will, you have it to an hour, and they'll just work through whatever it is that you're working on. We often find that a lot of our clients are interested in learning something very personal, and so we find that working in the one-on-one setting is the best way to meet those needs. Occasionally we do offer group lessons as well. So we have in the past run webinars on things like how to use social media, Pinterest, all of those sort of different applications that many people want to use. I think that's really a rundown. I know Gord mentioned our overbooked book club. So because of COVID, we've actually moved, a number of services got moved online. And I should mention that our technology training is also offered virtually as well. But we do have a book club that runs online virtually, and you actually get the opportunity to meet the author. So some good things have come out of the pandemic for sure. And does anyone have any questions?
I actually have a question, Melissa. Can other people outside of Calendar have Calendar library cards? How does that?
So you can get a membership at the Calendar Library if you're not a resident of Calendar, but there is a fee associated with that. So it's $40 for the year. And that gives you access to the technology training as well.
Melissa, just, and I'll speak to the elephant in the room, and that's COVID-19. And I'm just curious, how has your service delivery model changed because of COVID?
Really what's changed is us trying to provide access for people from their own homes. So things like offering the Wi-Fi hotspots, although it's something that many libraries have considered in the past, there was a huge increase in uptake of that service during COVID so that people could access the internet from home. Before COVID, we didn't offer free Wi-Fi here at the library, but once COVID, that was an obvious necessity for people. We also allow people we do curbside service now. So if you're not comfortable coming into the library for any reason, we'll bring your stuff out to you. And we're starting up a book delivery service as well for people who may not feel comfortable coming into the library.
Thank you. Any other questions for Melissa? Okay. Thank you very much, Melissa. Very much appreciate your presentation. I'm going to move on to our next guest, and that's Nikki Stage from Home Instead. Is Nikki here?
Hi, good
Hi, Nikki.
afternoon, everyone. I joined just in time. Sorry,
I was just going to say, so Nikki, we've been working together since since you joined Homestead in 2015. And I'm reading through your bio. I have a couple of questions. Your furry babies, are they cats or dogs?
They're both. Jasmine is my cat and Minnie is my dog. So Minnie is a 3.5 pound teacup Chihuahua.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. And one thing I learned about you reading your bio was that you were the winner of the Intrapreneur Award, and I thought, well, I know what that means, so I looked it up, and you were recognized for your influences on innovation and creativity in 2019. So that's the Bell Business Awards. So congratulations on that. I was not aware of that. And I will turn the floor over to you to talk about your services at home instead.
Great. I think I'm talking about the home care tablet, right?
Whatever you want to talk about that you'd like about your services, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining today and listening in on, I have a very quick presentation because I'm sure there might be some questions. And I'm very excited to talk about our home care tablet because it's kind of a unique technology that we're starting to roll out. So it's new for us, but it's also something that we've started to implement in our clients' homes, and it's going really well for some of our clients that really enjoy this technology. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. Very briefly, if anyone didn't know, we are a home care a year and a half. We also service Barrie, Orillia, Midland, and Parry Sound. So this Home Instead tablet right now is within our Barrie and Sudbury area as we're continuing to launch it out further. And it's kind of a really cool technology that we're excited to discuss a little bit today. So we do home care supports. We're family funded and through the LIN as well. So pick home care tablet because I'm working from home today and I couldn't grab one to show you, and it's kind of hard doing this visually, but I would normally show you guys kind of the home care tablet and what it looks like, but it is purple, our Home Instead color. It's actually a pretty great size. It's not too heavy. And all of our tablets come with their own charging station. They come with little cards inside the packages that explain how all the features work as well, to make it really easy for the family member and the client to be able to understand the tablet, in addition to us coming into the home and explaining how the tablet works with the client, doing some demo calls, as well as assigning training to our Home Instead caregivers as well, so they can help the client utilize the technology as well as himself. Because our home care tablet isn't just a tablet we throw into the client's home and say, here, have fun. It is a tablet that gets used in combination with our caregiver that comes in to provide the home care support. So it's a combination of technology and a professional Home Instead caregiver coming into your home to provide a really great integrated care experience. So I threw this slide on here. I don't like the word Kathy, but that's what they use to describe a family daughter, because we see a lot of women, according to stats, being really that family caregiver, but there's lots of different types of family caregivers out there that are juggling, taking care of their loved one, working full time, and having their family of their own. So we've seen a few of those family caregivers really like this technology. So this is how it kind of works in a nutshell. So we have a partner portal that all Home Instead staff have access to, where we can actually check on the tablet's activity. We can video chat with the tablet. We can edit apps, delete apps, wipe the tablet clean, shut the tablet down, and every accessible feature to the tablet we can access through that portal, as well as reaching out to the individuals who kind of help with the onboarding process. We can see a whole checklist of, you know, have they showed the caregiver and the client and the daughter how to use the activity of the day feature? Have they shown them how to use the email feature? So we can really see all the back end pieces of that tablet and how it's being used. How many clicks, how many phone calls out, how many phone calls in. So we get to really see how the device is being utilized. And then there's a quick snapshot picture for the client and our caregiver, the home care tablet. It's got really big icons. Every tablet comes with its own internet. And so there's lots of features on there that we can customize to each client. And so I said we wipe them clean as well. So each client gets their own email and it's customized to them. So some families want certain apps, some families want all the apps, some just want a couple to keep it simplified. But really what's on there is, you know, YouTube, weather, games, music. There's a mood button. for stimulation. It's really got a lot of cool features, and you just keep swiping and press the big icons to be able to select what you want to choose. There's the Caregiver Portal that our caregivers use to be able to clock in and out to prove that they're there at each visit. Makes it really easy and accessible for them to update any notes and to be able to clock in and out. And then there's GrandPad Central for that family caregiver. It's actually an onboarding process that the family caregiver gets to do. It's a portal that they get to access, and they also can see the monitoring of the tablet. So say the caregiver and the client take a picture together, they're having a really fun time. The daughter can actually upload and save that picture. Even when the tablet's wiped, she can always have those pictures and memories, and she can see, you know, the activity on the tablet as well and make sure it's really great. And she can update contacts on that tablet too. So the tablet can only call who's updated as contacts within the tablet, which is another kind of safety feature. So that family member can add or delete any family contacts in the tablet. And it's also not only just compatible on the browser in the portal, it's also a GrandPad companion app that they can have access to on their phone as well. So that's really how the technology works in a nutshell. What's really great for us is the office connection we have with our caregivers and our clients and the family members. We can do on-demand virtual support. So we can do some virtual check-ins and chat live on video with the client, the caregiver, and the family member. It helps us with improving our quality assurance process. We do quality assurance in the home when we can. We do phone call quality assurance, especially since COVID. But now we can actually do virtual quality assurance calls. And we can actually take some virtual introductions as well when we're introducing a new caregiver to a client. We can do some virtual introductions as well and keep everyone safe, but still have that great communication, because communication is key, especially when it comes to providing care in someone's home. And caregiving support is huge. It helps make our caregivers feel more confident because they can have everything at their fingertips. They don't have to use a phone. It's all right there in the home with the client in the tablet. And it's got the Home Instead Now button, the big purple Home Instead Now. So if they click on that, they can actually request a video chat live with one of our reps at the office, and then we can follow up. So maybe there's an emergency situation. Maybe they need a quick refresher on something. They have a question that they really need our support. Maybe they have something they want our nurse to see on the client. So they can do a quick call out to the office, and then we can follow up with a video chat. And the client connections are on there, you know. There's email that they have access to, camera, calling options if they want, weather, photos, games, tools, radio, news, articles. They're always being updated on a regular basis. And like I mentioned, it has its own internet on the tablet too. And on every tablet is caregiver support and client engagement help. So there's training videos they can watch if they want to kind of refresh on how some of the tablet works. They have direct support from a rep that can help them if they have any questions or need some guidance on that tablet as well as we have direct online support too, and send in requests to help us when it comes to the tablets, because technology can be challenging sometimes, but it definitely has its benefits. So we're excited to continue to launch the home care tablet, help us enhance the lives of those in our community even more, you know, and take our technology piece and our amazing Home Instead caregivers and combine them together to kind of make the future of home care. And we're seeing this kind of come out with some other technologies that are out there in the community. So I'm really excited to see where we can take this technology piece and combine it with Home Instead and combine it with home care. And that pretty much concludes my presentation. So I hope that wasn't too short or too late, but I'll throw it back at you, Gord, in case there's any questions that I missed, or if anybody wants to unmute and ask me any questions.
Thank you very much, Nikki. That was a great presentation. I'd like to see if there's any questions from the field, from any of our attendees or other panelists for Nikki.
Nikki, can I ask a question?
Sure, of course you can.
How do people sign up for this program, or like how do people get access to the tablets?
That's a really great question. So it comes with our home care services, right? Some of our clients are utilizing it. So once they sign up, like there was just one, I dropped the tablet off last week, recently signed up for services, and without saying too much information, signed up for services is number one. That's how you access the tablet, using our services, family funded, to have someone come in your home. So this particular person reached out to the office, not knowing about this technology, but needed us to come in to provide some respite service so they could continue working because they work from home. But their family member really needs stimulation and needs engagement, because if they don't have that, they start to wander and they start to come into their room and come into their presentations and start to interfere with their work. So we introduced a caregiver to come in on a daily basis for a few hours so that person can focus on work. And then we introduced the tablet as well as part of the care plan. So when our caregiver is there, they can do some meaningful activities together on the tablet to keep the client engaged. They're doing YouTube videos and playing bingo right now. But also that when our caregiver can't always be there, then the client also is familiar with the tablet and they can still continue to play games and have activities and allow that person to continue to do work. So it's kind of really coming up with, if you're interested in getting this home care tablet technology, reaching out to our office and inquiring about services. And you can mention you heard about the tablet at this presentation. And if we feel it's the right fit for how many hours you're utilizing, we can look at that package of introducing the home care tablet as well. And it's just a discussion we have. That's how all our services happen. People call, they ask questions, we make recommendations, and then we move forward from there. Does that answer your question, Samantha?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's a good question. And if anybody's not comfortable asking me questions, I can put like right live here, or maybe they leave the presentation and they think of one. I think you guys can share my contact information, or I can put it in the chat box as well.
Do you ever see this coming out as an app? And so right now you're providing the hardware. When they're done with their services, I don't know if they keep the hardware comes back to you, but I mean, this is where the field is going, and as a provider of technology, do you see this, you developing this into an app that can be downloaded?
So there is right now an app that the family caregiver can access called the Daily Companion app when it comes to this tablet, where they can live chat with their loved one on the tablet. Hey, I'm coming home. Do you need milk or whatever you need? Or how's it going with your caregiver, Kathy? So they have all the features they can access right now on their tablet. On their phone in an app. So I don't know if that's kind of the question you're asking. So it is already kind of there. It's more where, it's always going to be in a tablet form. It's always going to be a physical tablet that's in the home. It's just not confusing it with, for our process is not just saying, okay, here's a tablet, goodbye, have fun. It has to be used in combination with that person-centered touch of the caregiver. We don't want to forget about that. And I know digital technology is coming out. You're a pro in that. I know there's a lot more digital solutions rolling out through the OHT. We don't want to mistake our tablet for just, here's your tablet, go on. It's in combination where we still have to keep that person-centered approach with caring for someone in person. But okay, let's throw the tablet in here and see how we can expand on that in-person technology. And of course, it's going to develop and grow into more and more. But the companion app specifically right now is just for that family caregiver.
Sounds like Jasmine in the back, or one of the furry babies.
It's Minnie right now. She's being a bad dog, a bad chihuahua right now. She's barking because she sees the cat, and the cat wants into the room so they can play.
Yes, very good, excellent. Okay, I saw that we had a question from, I think it was from Heather Wallingford. Heather, thanks very much for joining the session today. You had a question on cost.
Yes. That's a good question. And I wish I had a really good answer for you, but I'm going to be completely transparent and I don't. So cost all comes down to, I guess, depending on how many hours and how much service you're needing. And even the cost of our services is a little bit dependent on your cost, on what kind of care you're looking for and what kind of services you need in the care plan. So my best recommendation for you is, if you wanted to find out cost, is just to inquire about services. So I know our minimum, if that makes you any clearer, is 10 hours a week of service. So that's where we start with our minimum. That's to ensure we have good quality continuity of care. We used to have, I mean, even last 2 years ago, 2-hour minimum for services, and it was just getting too hard to staff, and that continuity of care just wasn't there. So you'd have to purchase at least 10-hour minimum service to even qualify to look into the tablet. So my recommendation for you, Heather, and I'm sorry I don't have a better answer, but I don't want to give you false information, give our office a call and discuss on the tablet packages that might be available to see if it's a good fit. And my 3-pound pup is wanting to be on camera probably, but she's got attitude. She's only 3 pounds, but she's 3 pounds of attitude.
Excellent.
Let's see if I can get her for you, which is totally not appropriate for this presentation, but I love her.
It's everyone's wanting. Look at that. Yeah, there you go. And how is, let's just chat a little bit about COVID, because I know, helplines had to make changes to how we deliver our services, a lot more self-installations and things like that. But how is it, obviously it's affected your services. How has your business changed? What are some of the protective things that you're doing? Don't want to spend a ton of time, but just to reassure people, as providing in-home services, people may be afraid to have others in the home. So perhaps, Nikki, you could just let them know and reassure people how we're keeping everyone safe.
That's a really great question, and I'm glad that you brought that up. And so if you need to cut me off, let me know, because there's a lot I can talk about when it comes to this. Nikki, stop talking. So yes, COVID has definitely thrown everybody kind of for a loop. But if anybody's on the line and they're in home care, they know, and especially your services, Gord, we're essential. So our services have not stopped throughout COVID. And I'm going to tell you, they actually increased during COVID, during this pandemic, where people have called wanting more services for their loved one. And I think there's been this shift in that people are realizing the value of home care, and they're realizing the value of paying for home care now. Where before, a lot of people would really try to utilize everything they can that's subsidized or free, which again, I encourage everyone to do, but there's limitations on that. Where when there's family funded care available and you can pay for it, we've seen that shift in people reaching out and wanting to pay for that service for their loved one to keep them safe and engaged, and having great experiences at home or wherever they call home. So that's kind of been a nice refreshing piece, is seeing those inquiries come through and seeing people willing to support their loved one in that capacity. Now, of course, if we could have way more healthcare workers in the field, we'd be able to help way more people. And I don't even know if we've made that a discussion for this event in November. But we've done a lot of changes, and actually ordering these tablets and bringing these tablets and rolling these tablets out was one of the reasons why we decided to do it, was because of COVID, because it allows us to do a lot more virtual interviews, virtual check-ins, and support our caregivers out in the field, but still stay safe because we're not traveling out all the time and having multiple people in the home. So another reason why we increased our minimum too, because we need to staff consistently, right? We need to ensure that the same caregivers are coming in to the best of our capacity and best of our ability, depending on how many hours someone cares for. Of course, we have all the PPE in place. I mean, I spent a lot of my time delivering PPE to some of our caregivers on a lot of the other cities and outskirts. We have rapid testing always available as well to our caregivers, to ensure that we're keeping everyone safe, as well as all of our office staff. And our office was closed to some people, only open to some of our caregivers. Now we're completely opened back up. And it's making sure that, we're utilizing their tablets, we're keeping our PPE, and we're just making sure we're educating in our community as much as possible so people can make the best decisions. We offer in-person care consultations, of course. We also offer as much over the phone as we can, or video if the family prefers, to kind of start those conversations and start those chats before we seriously say, okay, we're going to enter into the home and let's try moving forward with this. And it's been, ups and downs, but it's been, generally really great to see that shift in our community change from, okay, you know what, we need to now take what we can get from subsidized or the LIN, and let's apply some family funded as well and create a really great care plan for our loved one to keep them safe and independent. So it's a lot in one kind of chunk, but hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
You're absolutely right, Nikki. And from a helpline perspective, we've changed our processes. Absolutely, folks, families see the value of having technology in the home, from, learning about technology and having access to libraries and things like that. So it's become so important, and it's we could see it with just with the marketplace trying to buy a phone or trying to buy a tablet. It's impossible, and wait times are so. That's just a show of how much digital we're moving to a digital world, or we're already there, but even more so. So thanks again, Nikki, for your presentation. I'm going to move on to Cassidy from Cyber Seniors. This is a not-for-profit organization founded in 2015. Kasha, I think you're joining us from Toronto, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And you're going to talk about your service, and I'll turn the floor over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Kasha. I'm one of the co-founders of the program called Cyber Seniors, and I'm now the Director of Digital Services as well. Basically, what we do is we started as a high school community service project. My sister and I saw how much joy the internet was bringing our grandparents. They had family members all across the world, really, and they needed ways to keep in touch with them. So by necessity, they taught themselves how to use Skype, how to be on Facebook, how to use email, so that they could stay connected to their kids and their grandkids. Through that, we were only a couple hours away. We were in Toronto and our grandparents were in St. Catharines, but they still wanted to connect with us too. So they were on our Facebook. At the time we were in high school, so them being on our Facebook wasn't 100% ideal, but they were, and we loved seeing them. And my grandma would comment on all my pictures, whether I wanted her to see them or not. But we really saw how much joy the internet brought our grandparents, and we wanted to be able to give that experience to other seniors. So we started going into retirement homes and community centers and teaching seniors how to get online, how to use, the devices that were given to them in their homes, or maybe their grandkids gave them, or like their kids gave them. And it very much started out similar to Rhonda and Melissa's program, where it was we would go in and work one-on-one with these seniors and get them through whatever they needed to learn. Very much from the basics, how to double click, how to move around a touchpad screen, what a window was, what a website was versus, a URL and a link. So kind of getting very much into the depths of technology, because what we learned was the generational divide within technology is so vast that there's also now a communication divide on how to communicate about technology. There's words that we use every day that both have different meanings or mean absolutely nothing to someone who has never touched a piece of technology before. So we really start from the ground up of teaching them, the basics of how to turn on their device. We also, get seniors who already know how to use their device, and they're like, hey, I want to start a website because I have a lot of, I want to put my memories down. I have stories to share. So we get a vast range of seniors and their ability and their desires. So we really do also implement that one-on-one kind of team building. And that was pre-pandemic. And since the pandemic hit, we've gone completely virtually. So, we still have in-person sessions in some of our communities across North America, but we have completely gone virtual. But the way our program runs is basically through the help of young volunteers. So young tech savvy people who, want to give back to their communities, want to start, doing something good and have this natural ability to use technology. So we train our young people and they're, high school students to university and college level students. We train them how to communicate, how to teach seniors how to use technology in a safe and comfortable environment. And we teach them how to teach. And then we use them to teach the seniors how to use their technologies. So we always say to our young people, you don't have to be a tech genius. You just have to be tech, you're just there to be a tech helper. So that's what our volunteers do. And our organization really, really runs on through the help of our volunteers. But since we have gone virtual, I'll just show you what our website currently looks like. So as I mentioned, prior to the pandemic, we were in person. We would match students up with senior citizens. We've always believed in a couple things. One is shrinking the digital divide, but also fighting social isolation. Even before the pandemic, you know, seniors, as they get older, we all know they lose mobility, and they're still capable, they're still able, but you know, being able to go out to see friends or get to their community center regularly can sometimes be a challenge, especially in more rural areas where it's a longer drive, and if they're not comfortable driving anymore, they lose that ability. So we really wanted to create, especially when the pandemic hit, a place where they could have that community, where they could have those access to, you know, other seniors and other young people, to not only help them get online, but to also foster relationships and have somewhere to, you know, hang out with people. So when we went virtual, the first thing we did was we set up our toll-free 844 number. Any senior can call us at any time for tech help. When they call us, we book them in for a more proper appointment. So they can book in for an hour-and-a-half appointment with one of our young people. And we will help them with anything and everything tech related. So it might be, you know, I need help resetting my password, or I can't log into Zoom anymore. It's not working. As I mentioned, you know, some of them want to build websites. They're quite tech savvy and they want that next level. And we help them to the best of our abilities, where I'll help guide them to, you know, maybe something's really wrong with their device and they need to take it back to where they bought it, or we can help them research, you know, a repair shop close by that's reputable, and we believe would be the best fit for them and their issues. So we have that one-on-one support for all of our seniors free of charge. But what we also do to foster that community relationship is we have webinars that go on all throughout our week. So every single day at 4 o'clock Eastern, we do tech webinars. So we do everything from mindful apps. You know, at the beginning, it was very much, how do you order groceries online? How do you do your doctor's appointments online? How do you order your medication online? Anything to keep everybody safe and at home. Since then, we have done anything and everything. We basically, if there's a tech out there they want to learn about, we will teach them. You know, every once in a while, they ask us for a refresher on TikTok and what it's all about, because what we found is that even if seniors don't want to be on it, they want to know what their grandkids are up to, and they want to know what's happening. They want to be in the know. You know, they're all the seniors we work with are super intelligent, super with it, and they just want to stay active and keep their minds active. So if they hear something on the news and they know it's a trend, they want to be in on the trend and they want to know it. And then they love it because then they call their kids and they go, oh, I understand TikTok. And the kid's like, I don't understand TikTok. Why do you understand TikTok? So they get a kick on knowing more than their kids nowadays. But aside from technology, we also realized that we were building a really wonderful community, and they wanted to spend more time with us and our young people. So we started developing other programs. So we have stretching classes. We do guided meditation twice a week. We do a Zumba kind of really fit class a couple times a week as well. And then also every 2 weeks, we do a trivia night, which gets very competitive sometimes, but we give out prizes and it's a lot of fun. We had a Halloween party recently. So we try to keep the community active and alive. We've also recently partnered with the city of St. Catharines to do regional specific webinars based over their region. So, you know, how to use the Niagara transit system, how to access their local libraries in a digital way. Basically anything to bring the seniors up to pace with, what younger people are able to access as we move into a very digital world. We forget that there's a whole generation above us that's, bigger than anything we've seen before, that aren't as tech savvy as us. And as we move into a really tech world, we can't leave them behind. We have to catch them up, especially as we move forward in technology. So yeah, these are things that we do daily, but if a senior is ever wondering what we've done in the past or wants to kind of go back and refresh themselves, we also post all of our previous webinars. So, if we've done a topic in the past that they want to know more about, we keep everything on our website, easy access. So, even recipe websites, how to use PayPal, personal alarm systems. We basically do it all, how to use podcasts, how to use different type of streaming services. Basically, you name it. If you've done it on the internet, we've done a webinar and we've showed our seniors how to do it. We also do regular cybersecurity classes as well, so to make sure that not only they, but we are also up to date with the latest cybersecurity requirements and trends, and we're all in the know. And so they're very good there. We've never had a problem with any of our seniors, and they tend to be a little bit more tech savvy than I am now, because as I go through my work day, they're all on these seminars, and then I come in and they let me know, hey, did you know that you need to be updating because of X, Y, and Z? And it's like, I had no idea. Thank you for letting me know. So yeah, that is what we do. As I mentioned, all of our services are free for seniors, and powered by our young volunteers. So whether you know a senior that wants to get started on technology, or is already, just needs a place to kind of learn more about technology, we are here for them. Or if you know a young person that's looking to get involved in their local community or at a greater level, we're always looking for new volunteers to help out. But yeah, that's my spiel of who we are and what we do.
Wow, that was fantastic, Kasha. And as a son of aging adults, also in Southern Ontario, I recount many times where they will call me and can't get the TV working, and I'll have to walk them through over the phone how to get the remote. Or so I understand. I mean, what a fantastic service. Curious, what is the most asked question for a device and then applications? So TikTok, Facebook, what would you say are the two most?
For us, because we run all of our webinars off of Zoom, all the seniors, that's kind of their initial thing, like, how do I get onto Zoom? How do I use it? A lot of the times, we're also helping out with the accessibility features on any tablet or smartphone, because when you first get it, the writing's really small. So we run through a lot of accessibility features and have regular web seminars about, how to make your font larger, how to add safety features. And so there's some really cool stuff that they can also add on. At first it really was that push for grocery shopping online and medication online. Now the seniors that we have are just in it. They don't tend to always have an interest in everything that we teach, but they'll show up because they're interested in educating themselves. But yeah, I think, we really get a range of different individuals. So trying to pinpoint it is hard, because we do get calls from a senior going, I got this laptop or I got this tablet. I don't know how to turn it on. So what do I do? And so we run through that versus, we do get people who are quite tech savvy and go, so I know how to do this. Or, we've had professors come on to our calls and say, I have to do a presentation for all these students and I can't figure out how to share my screen and how to switch from thing to thing. So we walk, these super intelligent older adults through doing a presentation for their class, because there's nobody even at their, college facility that's there to just show them how to work, new technology.
So and thank you for sharing that. Now, so if my parents wanted your service, they would either call or register through your website. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they can just sign up on our website. They can call us, or if they're tech savvy enough to navigate our website by clicking, I stopped sharing my screen, but we have a button that they can go to, and it's all the senior services. And so there we have, book a one-on-one. So it's super easy to navigate. It basically pops up a Calendly, which is just a calendar. They pick the day and the time that works best for them. They write in what exactly they need help in. So the more information they give us, the better, because then we can match them with somebody who's able to use that. So they'll tell us, I have an Apple tablet, so I have an iPad, and I have never touched it before. It's still in the box, so I need help from, start like point A, or I've had this tablet for forever, and none of my, and none of my apps are working anymore, or whatever it might be. So the more information they give us, but yeah, if you click the to browse all senior programs right there. So yes,
I foresee myself using this service. So because my parents, they love Facebook, but I don't know how to use Facebook. So I think this is truly amazing.
Yeah. So we have all of them. So if they want to go back and watch a previous webinar, maybe nothing currently running is of interest for them, but they want to go back and learn something. We've also been developing learning resources for over 10 years now. So we have tons of resources for them. They just need to register in order to have it. We also have merch if they want to dress up like a cyber senior. But yeah, all of our stuff is online, free. Some of it is behind a signups thing, but also when you register for a Zoom, you register with us, and basically that just gives you access to our emails that you're allowed to opt out of. But every week we send out an email with the next 2 weeks of our schedule. So what our webinars are, what we have on doc for the next 2 weeks. And that way they can just easily click on those links and get into every meeting as the week goes on.
And for our panelists, so like the library and Nikki, if they wanted to put a webinar on your site, would they contact you, Kasia?
Yeah, they can contact me. I will. We are a small but mighty team, but they can for sure contact me, and I can get them in touch with the right person. But yeah, we are always looking for guest speakers to talk about anything and everything. We've had in the past, we've even just done guest speakers on just tours of things. We do city tours as well, that are our volunteers run. So if they have a city that they love, they can do a city tour. So we really invite anybody who has something to talk about, or a program that they want to share with our seniors. We invite them to come on and do a session for us.
Excellent. I see Micheline has her hand up. Micheline?
Hi, I'm Micheline McWhirter, and I work at Canada College. Loved your presentation, and I'm hoping that I can touch base with you after about maybe how our students can help support in the way of volunteers, and how we could maybe, get this promoted in this region, and how we could partner to do some of that work. So just great job, and I think it's fantastic. You mentioned something really important that I think happened through the pandemic, is that there's an expectation that we all have a certain level of digital literacy. So all of a sudden, people who work in long-term care centers who are going to help residents with technology, they themselves may not have that experience of using a tablet and didn't have that training. For example, the teacher that you talked about, our professors at Canada, or our teachers, not all of them had the technical and digital literacy to be able to start doing online delivery, but we had to, and there was very little actual support and training in the beginning. So I think what you mentioned is that it's not just for older adults, it's for any of us who have to polish up on, like Gord doesn't know how to use Facebook. Like seriously, Gord?
Yeah, I know.
Does not
No,
know
I'm
how to
sorry.
use Facebook. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
you know what,
bug him about this now. But that just goes to show that it's never an end. I think that's where the new reality is. Technology, to your point about TikTok, I've never been on TikTok, don't know how to use it, but it's constantly evolving, as should our skills. So I'm wondering if you are tailoring anything to just general, for people in general, or is it always for the older adult?
It's typically we always go for the older adults, but recently we have been developing work readiness skills. And because we work with so many youths, we want them to leave our program with a solid work background. When they're putting us on their resume, they're really putting a good skill set on their resume. They're using communication skills, they're learning problem solving. And not just communication, but communicating in a tech to somebody who doesn't know tech, and to a different generation that they probably don't have a lot of experience chatting with. And we were kind of focused on teaching them work readiness skills. And then we realized that there's a bunch of older adults who are ready to go back into the workplace, but now with, technology the way it is, people working from home, they don't know how they fit because they're not tech savvy enough to do certain things. So we're currently developing a work readiness program that fits everybody. So, stuff like how to sit in a virtual meeting, how, making sure your background's fine, how to send an email, what proper email etiquette is, really kind of going to the basics of even Microsoft Word. I don't remember how I learned about, my Microsoft skills, but somewhere along the line, I guess I learned it in school and just figured it out. But I was, young enough and tech savvy enough. I grew up with technology that I figured it out, but nobody taught me how to use Excel. I just had to figure it out, and I had the time. Versus young people and older adults going into the workforce, they don't have time to fiddle around with an Excel document to figure out how it works. They need to know those skills right now. So that's something we're currently developing for both, older adults and our young volunteers.
Thank you for that. That was, I'm excited to see how you're nailing it. There's nowhere to go to just find out simple, basic email etiquette, for example, or some basics.
Yeah.
We do have a question in chat from Lorraine Gilmet. It says, does one have to register to be part of Cyber Seniors, or just call into the 1-844 number?
So no, you can just call into the 844 number. If you don't have an email address, it's a little harder to register. But once you've called, you've registered to an extent. We have your contact information, so we can give you a call back. But really, to register, if you go to the Senior Services tab, and there's a link there that you can register to access more. But for the most part, right now, there is no real registration process. It's open for anybody. Anybody can. When it says register for the webinars, that's basically just signing up for them and putting your email in and your name in and saying, hey, I'm going to be there. But you can really access anything without officially registering with us right now.
Any other questions? From our panelists, is there anything else that you'd like to mention about your service, or any questions that you've got for your colleagues?
Gord, I had posted one question for Rhonda in the chat. I know Michelin had answered it, but just for folks who maybe didn't perhaps see the chat, I was gonna just pose it again. Rhonda, for the Disco Hub, I was wondering if you could just let us know where current Disco Hubs are being held.
Yeah. So right now We only have them, it's only available in Corbeil. So we only have 2 weeks left of our session there. And then we are going to be starting back up in January. And I'm not sure where the location will be yet. It'll be in North Bay, but there will be posters and postcards being sent out. And I'll make sure that everybody gets a poster of where it will be. It'll be either at the Village or the YMCA. So we'll definitely one of those spots.
Yeah, we will.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we'll share the locations. We want to also offer one in Parry Sound at the Parry Sound campus. If you are part of a community and you think your community could benefit from this face-to-face service, don't hesitate to either contact the Y or Canador, and we can help hook you up either to one that's already happening or set up a new one in your community. I think the other thing I wanted to mention is Kelsey has one more poll. It would be interesting to ask a question of our group again. I think you have another poll, right, Kelsey?
Yeah, I've got 2 more actually, and I'll launch the second right now. So the question is, do you have access to technology at home? And so we'd just like to know, if you have access to your cell phone or to the internet, or a tablet, laptop, computer, if you have Wi-Fi, or I'll just wait till the answers filter in here and then I'll ask the second question. Great, thank you to those of you that answered. We're at 83% for participation. I'll end that poll. And then I will open the next poll. So there's 3 questions to this one. First one being, before COVID, did you use Zoom or other programs to connect with family and friends? Since COVID, do you use Zoom and other programs to connect with family and friends? And what was your level of knowledge using technology? Well, unfortunately, only attendees can vote and not panelists. Sorry, Sam.
You're going to show us the results, right? Because that's the most exciting part of the poll.
Sure. Would you
Thanks for
mind,
not having-
actually, Michelle, would you mind reading over them after I share them?
Sure.
Thanks for not having a question on Facebook too, please.
Okay, I'll end the poll and then we'll share the results from this last.
So yeah, that's interesting. So before COVID, did you use Zoom? So only about 20% used Zoom before COVID. And since COVID, 100% of the participants are using Zoom and other online programs to connect with family and friends. So you can see that like big jump and change in our behavior as a result of COVID. I think I would have answered the same. I don't know if I use Zoom for work, but I didn't use it to talk to family or friends for sure before. The next one was, what is your level of knowledge? So most of the people in the group find that they're an intermediate user or an advanced user. So that makes up our 100%. So that's really good. We have already some people who are comfortable with technology. How about our first poll that we asked you, the other one?
About the cell and the data.
Yeah, about what the access people had. So, so again, 100% of people have some sort of computer, laptop, tablet, and about 80% have a cell phone with data that connects to the internet. So that shows us a little bit about who's attending the sessions. I guess our challenge, and that's maybe the last one, maybe I could throw it to the panel since we have a bit of time, is how do we reach those who are really not interested in using technology? How do we convince them? And I'm sure all of you on the panel have faced that challenge, but how do you engage people who have never engaged with technology and just don't think, I'm too old, it's too late for me, I'm not going to start this now?
From my personal experience, especially when we started 10 years ago, we used grandkids as our bribing tool. So we said, if you get on Facebook, you'll be able to see your grandkids. If you learn how to Skype, and I find the question about Zoom funny because before the pandemic, I used Skype, and I don't know why Skype missed the boat, but they really somehow missed the boat on the pandemic. But yeah, we really kind of tugged at their heartstrings and said, if you get on the internet, you'll be able to connect with your grandkids. Now we do it more, we give them all these options of whatever we show them on the internet, we show them how to do it themselves. Because I think it's like everybody, why do you open up your phone or your computer? What are you going to look at? It's that one or two things. It's Instagram or Facebook or that news site or whatever it is. And it's finding that interest that they have to keep them coming back. At least that's what we found in our perspective.
I know for us, like I think we advertised it and sent it out to multiple groups of people. Also word of mouth. If we had people who came to our sessions, we would suggest that maybe if they had friends who wanted to learn to come out to our sessions. And I even posted up at a couple of, went to a doctor's building where they had doctor's offices, and I had them put up a poster in each doctor's office, because this was before the pandemic, of course, because that's a great way to attract people, because they're always going to the doctor. So we ended up putting posters up there too. So yeah.
From our poll questions, this is, folks mostly from, well, I would say primarily from Northern Ontario. Kasia, do any of these responses from our polls surprise you?
No, not at all. What I found is, I think 10 years ago when we started, I think there was more older people, maybe who didn't have access or had never touched stuff, but we're really moving into a place where, because everything is online now, everybody's forced to do it. So it's less of a, how do we encourage them to get online? You just kind of say, you need to be, because now even, I have to refill like a prescription to do this. There's some sort of online portal. My doctor's office, as mentioned, they're now using an online portal to book appointments. So I don't know, of course you can still call in, but they're really pushing for it. I'm like, you can't push this on seniors, because are they going to do it? Even the post office, they're trying to go completely like digital and trying to go in there and fill out a form in person is challenging now. So nothing of this surprised me. Everybody's moving into a technology kind of world, but it doesn't make it less complicated. I think, even I have to learn something new in tech every week. And I because I grew up with it, I'm quick to figure it out, and I know I'm not going to break anything by pressing the wrong button. But there is still a fear in technology. So even if you know how to use it, it's that fear of not exploring more because you think that something's going to go wrong.
Right. Okay. Any other? Thank you. Any other questions?
Gord, I'd like to plug your session. So you're doing a 1 hour session specifically about your organization. Maybe you want to share a little bit about that? Yeah,
thank you. So my name is Gord Turner. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Operations for Helpline. We provide medical alarms. We're located in Sudbury and in North Bay, but we provide services across Canada. So essentially, we provide a medical button that if you need assistance, and you can push your button, you can talk to our trained operators here in Sudbury. And essentially what we're trying to do is prevent the long lie. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that, the benefits of the technology, and some of the devices that are available out in the community. So I'm looking forward to, and that is on Thursday afternoon. I'll be talking about that. So I look forward to everybody attending that. And if you've got questions, certainly you can reach out to me directly. I want to thank all of our presenters, Melissa, Nikki, Kasha, and Rhonda, for their excellent knowledge and their preparation, their excitement about joining us for today. I think certainly it's been a great time spent and lots learned. And I think we have all taken away something from this presentation. I do have one question, and that's to deal with cybersecurity. And I think, surprised it wasn't asked, so I'm going to ask it, and everyone feel free to pipe in. And that is, as aging adults, and Kasia, you said about clicking on the wrong thing. And from a personal experience, my parents will click on something, and I'm thinking, oh boy, did they click on the right thing? So, what would you recommend in terms of cybersecurity? Should everybody have, software, antivirus software, and things like that for all of their devices, things like that? So maybe you could share some of your expertise. Other panelists, if you've got expertise in this area, Nikki, I'm sure this is part of yours as well. Maybe we could spend the last 13 minutes just chatting about this. And I think it's an important topic that we talk about this and bring it out in the open.
Yeah, from my perspective, it depends all, what kind of device you have. Certain companies have cyber security kind of built in, so you don't need to download that additional security measure. But it's definitely something that I think everybody needs to consider. And it goes beyond even like virus care. It goes, into password security, what you're doing on your computer, what you're comfortable doing. We still have seniors who refuse to do banking online, which is totally understandable. It's about a comfort level and not, having been, had a credit card stolen once, and now they refuse to do anything other than paper transactions. So I think it's just education. And I think the more you know, the more comfortable you are. Otherwise, you read these stories and you see these things, and it's terrifying, and everything, you see these examples of people getting scammed, and it's very real, and it's not something to take lightly. So we do, regular security, cybersecurity lessons, because the internet isn't a scary place, and you should be safe and comfortable. But you also have to know, it's of course it's safe to walk through a city, but do you walk through the wrong end of the city late at night? No. So it's knowing how to navigate the internet in a safe and secure way, to make yourself comfortable. And then just knowing yourself. If you're not, we tell them it's okay, it's safe to do banking online, but if they're like, no, I'm not comfortable, then that's it. You don't push someone to do what they don't want to do. So that's kind of our take on it. We educate as much as we can. And we actually have a great person who comes in to do our cybersecurity lessons. And she used to work for, I think, the FBI or something cool like that. So she has a cool kind of job description, and she does our cybersecurity lessons. So the seniors trust her and take all of her advice very well. So it's a good kind of feature we have.
Thank you. Anyone else from our panelists that'd like to provide input on that?
I just want to share, it's Micheline McWhirter again. So we were in a session this morning with representatives from the federal government around money and pensions and so on and so forth. And one of the big things that he shared, and I've heard also a previous guest from the police share this, that to know if something is fraud or not fraud, one of the telltale signs is if it seems threatening and scary, it's fraud. Because businesses, banks, the government, organizations don't threaten people on, like, that's not the way. They wouldn't be threatening or scary. That's not how they would reach out to a customer, a client, or to for somebody from the government. So that was like just a good rule of thumb to know, like, how do you know? That's one of the big ones that they shared.
Sounds like we could do a course on dispelling the myths and things like that for seniors. But thank you. And I see that we've posted a link regarding fraud prevention and things like that. So I appreciate you doing that. If there's no lasting questions, I will conclude this panel. I thank my colleagues, panelists again, Kasia, Rhonda, Nikki, and Melissa for joining us today. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you at future presentations. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.